Hello YouTube, it's Lion here with Hobbies of a Man once again, and today we are doing another Kaiju number 8 chapter review. Now today's chapter is going to be chapter 12, and we're going to do a recap section. We're going to talk about what happened last time really briefly, then we're going to go deep into spoilers. We're going to talk about everything that happened in this chapter, and we're going to go into detail. I will tell you some ideas and thoughts that I had while reading this, and then we'll go into the theory section, which won't have much today. I don't really have that many ideas. And then we'll cover anything else that we need to, and then we'll leave. So please do stick around. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below for more videos like this. And check out my other videos as well. Also, if you're a fan of light novels and you want to check out something by Tentai Books, you can use code LION at your checkout on tentaibooks.com to get a 10% off discount. So make sure to use it, as you'd be supporting Tentai Books. It's supposed to only work on digitals, so keep that in mind. Okay, so let's just jump into it now. The recap here is going to basically be that in chapter 11, because we didn't have a chapter last week, we had chapter 11.1, which was just 4 images. Although one of the images did spark some interesting debate on the subreddit, on the r/Kaiju number 8 subreddit, asking about Kikoru's height. And I did make a video on that last week, which was my Kaiju number 8 video of the week last week, where we basically found out that Kikoru was about 5'11", according to basically uncorroborated data that we could find. Based on different characters and comparing them to each other and stuff, we could find that Kikoru is about 5'11", Kafka is about 6'4", Ichikawa is about the same height as Kikoru, and Mina is around 5'8". So do check out that video. It's up in the card for last week, and do come back to this one. Now, what actually happened in chapter 11 was that it was a transition chapter. It basically shows the growth of Ichikawa and Kafka, which for Ichikawa is pretty good. It's about, what is it? 10% increase, 6% increase? I can't remember exactly. But Kafka managed to go from 0% to 1%. So he got some of that. But basically, it was just kind of a bonding time. It was to show you that they're growing, that they're developing as individuals, but also to show you that, they're developing friendships with the other people on the platoon, squad, group, whatever it's called. And there wasn't much to it. It was just bros being bros for the most part. It wasn't much happening. And this chapter kind of definitely jumps back into the action, but it's not really that full. It's it feels like the start of a new arc, I guess, or the start of a new grouping of chapters that depict a certain plot line, I guess, which is an arc. So yeah, chapter 12 now. It has 18 pages. Well, it says it has 19, but you can't see the first page, and the last page is blank, so it's only 18. And yeah, we're gonna start spoilers now. So if you're not interested in that, please go read the chapter first and then come back and watch the video, and then drop a comment down below and let me know what you thought. So this chapter opens on some trucks, going down the highway as they transport people. We kind of see the trucks, then go inside the trucks, and we see Kafka. Well, we think it's Kafka when we see the first panel, and then it shows that it is Kafka, fixing his gun, kind of clocking it back and loading it and stuff, and kind of hyping himself up a little bit as he gets ready to face some kaiju. And then we get bold cuts saying, "Are you guys ready? It's kaiju slaying time," which is a lot cornier than it probably was supposed to come off as, but it was fine. It was kind of good. I like that shot that they had of that little bit. Kikoru was watching Kafka, and then there was two parallel rows of the dudes, and then Bolka was sitting in the middle, and it was a nice shot. So after that, some info starts coming in about what's going on and how they're gonna deal with it and stuff, and then we get Kikoru having a flashback while she's looking at Kafka. And in this flashback, Kafka, Kikoru, and Ishikawa are sitting down at some restaurant or like the mess hall or something, and they were talking about how Kafka got his powers. We don't get the beginning of the conversation, we just get the parts that are important. So we get Kikoru reacting to Kafka in like a really surprised, like over the top way, like, oh, what the heck, you ate a kaiju? And then she makes a joke about how poor people will eat anything, which is pretty funny. I thought it was, it wasn't nice, but it was a funny joke, and Kikoru's face was rather cute. Like the expression that they used was funny, so I quite enjoyed the joke. But yeah, and then Kafka's like, yeah, it's not like I ate it on purpose, and he goes into it, and then he's like, I was thinking about talking to the Japan Defense Force about it, and like seeing what they'll tell me. And then Kikoru's like, no, that is not happening. That is a very bad idea. At the very least, they'll stop you from being on the Japan Defense Force. At the most, they'll subject you to test, and at the worst, they're gonna kill you, and then you're gonna turn into kaiju suit parts, which is really bad. Apparently, they use like the largest, biggest kaiju that get assigned a code name, like kaiju number 6 or kaiju number 5 or kaiju number 8, whatever the case. They turn in, they get rendered down, and then all their organs and stuff are get turned into power suits for the Japan Defense Force. So that's pretty cool. But that would suck for Kafka. So Kikoru's like, yeah, don't do that. That's a bad idea. Don't even bother. Don't tell them anything. And then Kafka freaks out. He's like, oh, Kikoru, please don't tell anyone. I'll, he freaks out because there's someone extra that knows his secret that he has, no bond with, basically. And she's like, yeah, sure, you saved my life. It's the least I can do. But I'll kill you if you turn out to be, just some kaiju. And Kafka smiles at her and she's like, yes, that's exactly what I need. I would not expect anything less from you. Thank you, kind of. And Ichikawa is just like, oh God, what the heck? Like, what the heck's going on in the background? Well, after Kikoru says that. So after that, they go back into the current time. The flashback is over. And Kafka's gonna vomit because apparently he overate because he was nervous. And then they make a joke about how that's when he's supposed to lose his appetite, but I think it just depends on the person. But the joke was funny. And so after that, they get out. They get to the staging ground for the battle, and they see this huge kaiju. And it looks really awesome. It's like this weird, like, reptilian kind of mushroom looking kind of thing. It's really cool. I thought it was really interesting. But it looks really awesome. And they have 2 scenes where you can see it face to face when they get there and at the end, and both of them have really awesome shots. So I'm really excited to get into that. Now they, kind of skip forward a little bit, and you get a military, like, information sheet, kind of. It's like, 400, they're at this place, and they're going to do this, and they're with this platoon. And then, as you keep going, you see different platoons, which are, like, small 4-man groups, which I don't know if that counts as a platoon. Isn't that, like, a squad? But I'm not really sure. The one thing that is kind of important here is that Bowl Cut, I don't know his name. I still don't know his name. But Bowl Cut, is talking to them. He's telling them, hey, this is the plan. This is how we're going to do it. And you guys are going to concentrate on these sections. And you're also our last line of defense. You're going to stay back where it's easier for you guys since you're new. But you're also our last point of defense. You are extremely important to the success of our mission. And that really, like, bolsters the team. Then, like, hypes them up a little bit. And then Kafka is having a bit of a talk with Ichikawa over, like, their comms. He's like, I have all of these problems. I have all of this tension. I have all of this stuff happening, and I should not be able to deal with it. But right now, I'm so amped up, so hyped about this upcoming fight. And then, Ichikawa's like, yeah, man, of course. This is the moment you've been waiting for your whole life. This is when you become part of the Japan Defense Force, like your dream, which is, a really powerful kind of moment. I think all of the general tropes of shonen about accomplishing your dreams through hard work and dedication and stuff are really shining through in this book, in this manga, more so than in the regular shonen. And I don't know exactly why that is. I guess that it's an older guy, and there's a certain layer of nuance to it now that it's like a 30-something-year-old guy, as opposed to a teenager that's growing up. I'm not really sure, but it's really interesting, and it really hits me a lot more than, you know, Naruto, or, well, not Naruto, but like, it hits me a lot more than a lot of other shonen, where it's like, oh yeah, this is just like a good way to have this main character do something. With Kafka, it feels a little bit more real, I guess, and it's kind of interesting why that's happening. I can't really pinpoint it down. I guess it is because like, it's just a lot more impactful that it's someone that didn't achieve their dreams originally, and now they have a second chance to do it. It's kind of a bit of a rebirth, kind of a, what's it called? I don't know what to call it, but like it has a certain element of revival to it, of changing your life to it, and it's a lot, you know, more meaningful than just the regular shonen trope and the way that they're usually executed. But I thought it was really good. And yeah, they get a lot of info, they get a pep talk, and then that's basically it. Next, they are told, hey, you have to neutralize these kaiju and joju, which is part of the information that they're given. And then after that conversation where they're boosting each other's morale, Kafka and Ichikawa are boosting each other's morale, Kikoru sees and she smirks. And then the last couple scenes are Kafka, you know, telling Kikoru, come on, let's go, let's do our thing. And then they jump over the roof and they like slide down. And it's a really cool scene, you know, to end up on, where you jump over the thing and then you set up to fight the kaiju. I thought it was really awesome. Overall, really awesome imagery this whole chapter. I thought it was really great. It still felt transitional, but it was like starting to get into the action instead of just like being in between two bits of action, if that makes sense. So I'm really excited to see where we go next. Now, before we get into the theories, I do want to note that the art here is still awesome, but there's one problem with it, and that's the way that the suits are drawn. And it's not because they're drawn badly, although they are rather simplistic. No, the problem is that they're all completely blacked out, and you lose a lot of the definition of the characters. And it's kind of weird, right? Where, like, we saw Kafka and all the dudes last chapter, all super buff and bulked up and stuff, and then they put their suits on and they all look the same. They all have literally like the same body, and it's just kind of weird. Kikoru has these weird like boob breastplate things. Well, they're not really boob breastplates. They're more like just like lighter colored bits in front of her chest, and I guess that's to signify like, hey, she's a girl, and then like that light's bouncing off differently. But, like, the guys would have those too if they're, like, as big and muscly as they seem to be in the last chapter. So I'm not really sure. But, you know, I was going to say Gantz is a good example of how to do power suits, but that's not really true because Gantz is made in 3D and then turned into 2D images. So it's not really, you know, correct to compare them because it's completely drawn from scratch. So I don't know. But that was one thing I noticed, but it's not really a bother. Hopefully, as the author, as the mangaka gets better at drawing his own characters, he'll, like, you know, grow, and the different characters in the suits are going to look different from each other instead of all having the same body type, with the only real difference being their heads. But, you know, it's no big deal. It's just a thing I noticed. And, yeah, so, theory section now. I don't know. I'm not really sure what's going to happen next. I think a couple people are going to die. You know, some of the not so important characters are going to get cold. They're going to, you know, die. Maybe heroically. Maybe just like immediately, in a way to be like, hey, the horrors of war are really horrible, obviously. But I'm not really sure. I think that would be a good, you know, kind of thing to deal with. Since no one died in the test, someone dying right after the test would be a good way to kind of raise the stakes and show Kafka and Ichikawa that, you know, this is going to be a very tough reality for them, and kind of show all of the difficulties that, you know, Bolka was telling Kafka about. So I think that's what's gonna happen, but honestly, I'm not really sure. No one could die, or someone could die, or, you know, whatever. I can't really tell just yet. One other thing, I guess, is that Kikoru and Kafka and Ichikawa are definitely gonna be the trio of this what's it called, of this manga. I don't know. I know that the manga is definitely going to have a large cast, but I think that they're going to be the main three. And I think it's interesting. It's kind of weird. It's just basically like Kafka and then his two kids are going to be, or his kid brother and sister are going to be like his crew. And I'm interested in their dynamic and seeing how it develops, but I have no clue how that's going to work out. But yeah, that's it for the theory. Oh, one last thing is that apparently December 2020, we're going to get the first volume of print, like the first print volume of Kaiju number 8. So we'll probably get one for English in about a year, maybe, probably less than a year. I think probably 6 months, if not less. I'm not really sure. But well, probably between 6 months and a year. I'm not really sure, but I think that is kind of the general consensus, the general, you know, situation. It's usually 6 to 12 months after the Japanese release. So yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below if you did enjoy the video. And let me know what you thought. If you guys are interested in more videos like this, let me know, and I'll try to work some out. Also, do check out my previous videos in this playlist, and check out my channel. And yeah, thank you guys very much for watching. See you guys later.